Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Jacob Silverblade, and today we're doing a tier list on the Space Wolves. This is my initial thoughts on what I think every single card is, how good they are, how playable they are. Space Wolves do have a fair bit of cards and a fair bit of broken cards which need to be addressed. So I'm going to quickly go through what every single tier means and why it's here. Starting off with Broken Tier. Broken Tier is a level card which I genuinely believe needs to be addressed probably pretty quickly, at least by next month's update, because otherwise it will just absolutely ruin the game sort of level. Space Wolves have several of these, to be frankly honest, in my initial thoughts kind of opinion. So yeah, that needs to be dealt with. It's not good. Yeah, it's really can cause problems. So that's Broken Tier. S tier are cards which are really strong and should probably go in pretty much every single deck, but aren't quite breaking the game by themselves, so to speak. They're just really powerful cards. A tier is just reliable cards, something you can use. B tier is pretty decent cards, maybe in the right situation, maybe they're just alright and can go in any deck, but it'll only be alright, not be amazing. C tier is that you kind of need a reason for this card to exist in this deck. If you don't have a good reason, then it shouldn't be in there. And D tier are cards which unfortunately probably not gonna see any play at all and can't be used. So let's go through the list. First off, we've got Logan Grimnar. Now, Logan Grimnar is ultimately an S tier warlord. He has Fenrir and Freki, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that was Lehman Russ. Anyway, it's got these two wolves that he's able to start the game with. He also has a really decent hero power. In fact, that he gets to draw a troop, so you can make it so they're able to draw out particular troops, and we get why that's really strong in this sort of game. But just being able to draw out particular things from your deck is genuinely just powerful. And then he also reduces the cost of his wolves by 1 every single time he does that. For this reason, he's going to go into S tier, even if he doesn't use the wolves, to be frankly honest. If he didn't have that card, I think it would be merely an A tier only, just from my initial opinion, but just that, and then also the ability to just draw any troop from his deck. He can suddenly tailor decks where he has a whole bunch of strash gems, very little troops, and then guarantee the troops he kind of needs to pull off some very powerful combos. He also has that extra life as well, so I struggle to not put this guy in absolute S tier. I think there's some things which are really powerful about him. Next up, we've got Nigel Stormcaller. I think he's only A tier. His abilities are decent, and he's got the ferocity effect, which is, just the cost of his ability. That helps, don't get me wrong. This is the whole reason why he's able to be in A tiers, because there's a lot of good ferocity decks that Space Wolves have, and he's got that ferocity reduced cost of production ability, because I don't think his ability is actually particularly great, not bad but not great, but the fact that he's definitely going to be in positions where he's going to be playing that for free, I think justify why he's so good, and so hence I put him in A tier. Ragnar Blackbane is the starter one, and I think he's done be also in A tier. I'm just going to put him in A tier now, and then we'll decide what goes in what order in A tier. His ability to deal 1 damage to a troop, give it Hunt Mark 1, can be really nice, setting up some Hunt Mark sort of synergies and combos and stuff to activated effects. He also has the just a constant ability to effectively heal 1 to himself and deal 1 damage to the opponent warlord, can be nice. It's pretty nice for control effects. It's weird, he's not actually the most aggro warlord, although I'm sure there's decks you can build around and make him aggro. Really, if any warlord in this out of the 3 is the most aggro, it's probably Nigel Stormcaller. There we go. But hey ho, this is his effect, and it seems all alright. Next up, we've got Bjorn's Shrine. Now, I'll put it here for now. Gives +2 to friendly units. You can put your warlord if need be, and then next time you use Frosty, it stays in play. It's a 1 energy card. It's epic. It's either B or A tier. The fact that it needs to be used in Ferocity deck. That's what I'm thinking. It has to be used in a Ferocity based deck. And so this thing stays around, giving it 2 extra life. It's knife in an emergency, you can give it to your warlord, as I say. It's an extra 2 life. Just in a pinch, if you feel like you're going to be lethal next turn, it could save your life. You never know. But initial opinions, I think it's B tier. B tier reasoning is that it's sort of like an A tier, like a staple, like, you know, in a ferocity deck, but then in not a ferocity deck, you know, it doesn't see play. So it has to be that somewhere in between, maybe A tier. No, I'll leave it A tier for now because I think it's, you know, +2 life is always quite nice, although it's not the same as the Dark Angels one, which gives +3 life, and that would be S tier. Is ferocity really that worthwhile? There's some ferocity effects though you do want your guys going back to your deck though, like you really do, but there's some which actually would be really nice if it just stayed around. I need to test it out. I'm gonna leave it in A tier. Then we got Blood Claws. I think Blood Claws are also an A tier. If you're able to get some really good card draw going with like Logan Grimnar and whatever card draw else you can get this ferocity triggers going and going and going, and that can be add up to a lot of damage. Phoenix. I think Pack can be really strong in this game right now, and as a 1 energy ability, yeah, I think it deserves that. Death Shun. Give Hunt Mark 1 to an enemy troop, draw a card. Card draw is nice actually. No, this is an A tier card. Card draw is nice for 1 energy effect, and to give Hunt Mark to an enemy troop and then allow certain combos to go off with it as well can be the necessary enabler to get things going. Next up, we've got Hunting Wolves, and I would say they're at least A tier, just because they can attack any troop. It's a random troop, enemy troop, which is actually a benefit in this case, to be frankly honest, because it can attack stealth troops, and that doesn't save them from this guy. He is gonna die straight away, but it's only 1 cost, so it's very cheap. You can go in pretty much anything and just kill stuff. Just where you need it. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why this guy is not A tier, to be frankly honest. He has to be at least A tier. Now, Pack of 1 I rate very highly, and does it go in every single deck you would see? Pack of 1. Is there a reason not to include it? Okay, the only reason I can think of not to include this card is because of Drop Pod. We will get to Drop Pod later in the game, but like, I struggled to not include it. Like, why would you not give something flank and +1 attack and +1 health for 1 energy? Because the majority of the time that's what it's going to be. Until like right into the late game. And you can always just make it the case that just sort of happens. I struggle to see how Pack of 1 isn't just a staple, sort of goes in every single deck sort of card. I think it's really quite good. Savage Legacy, deal 1 damage. If the target dies, deploy a Grey Hunter. Grey Hunters will get onto, but they're probably alright as within themselves. I think this deck is a B tier effect. It can be useful in the right situation. Sometimes you can do the 1 damage to face, maybe sort of like more aggro deck. The extra Hunt Mark from the Grey Hunter can be alright, but I'm not seeing anything outstanding and amazing from that card per se. Anvil Endurance, I have actually tested this card a couple of times, using it in sort of more control styles. Same card, same sort of concept. I think this is a B tier card. The healing's nice on your warlord. Maybe if you have a Vanguard troop, giving it armor 1 if it already has armor, still has high life, for example. That could be alright with Anvil Endurance, but I'm not seeing anything particularly amazing. There's also, unfortunately, another card which heals as well, and it heals for the same amount, so I think healing 4 isn't really that great, but I'm not seeing it as a real weakness, actually. I'm not seeing anything broken about this card. I think it's just perfectly fine. Reavers, Black Mean Reavers, they're an A tier card. They can fit inside any deck, actually. Ooh. No, does it just go into S tier? Because it can fit inside pretty much every single deck, and there's no bad place to have this guy. It's just like, use this instead of hero power. And then you get, like, for example, Logan Grimnar's hero power. I guess it doesn't go in a Logan Grimnar's deck, because Logan Grimnar has his hero power to draw cards if he needs to draw a troop. And then it costs his unique card reduced by 1, whereas he got the Primaris Reaver goes into so-and-so. Does he belong in S tier? He probably does, to be honest. I'm not putting him in S tier. It basically gives you Logan Grimnar's ability, just it makes the thing you just drew cost 1 less out instead of Logan Grimnar. I don't think it's broken at all. It's only 1 cost reduction. It's not like 2 or something, but I think this is a very powerful effect, and I can definitely see situations where he can enable certain cards coming out earlier, which is just can just get out of hand sort of thing. Blood Claw Pack Leader. Now it has Artifice, give hunt mark to random enemy troop. It also has Pack himself, so that brings them up a little bit actually. He, these, I imagine just for 2 costs having Pack, this is pretty good within itself, to be frankly honest. Does he belong in A or B tier? The Artifice ability is nice, but you have to be in situations where you really want to use that. I'm not seeing any sort of particular deck where they're recreating stratagems in your hand to reuse Artifice, so you're not going to get that many triggers. He's not like bringing out amazing stats, although he does a Pack. Maybe in sort of like a Pack sort of style of deck, go wide. I can see it because you always got hero power. It can be nice. Meh. Initial thoughts, bit more of a late game card, bit more useful in that sort of sense. Could be good. Not seeing anything particularly amazing. I'm not putting him B tier. Deathwort Scout. Right, this guy's got camouflage. It's a 1/3 life. When a friendly troop uses ferocity, not himself, it costs 1 less, so the things which go back to your deck start costing less. That's a pretty alright effect. The problem is that you need to use this guy and then also use the thing, and then they also have to draw back, and really you want to use on multiple things to actually get value of the cost reduction. I'm not seeing it as that amazing actually. I think it's just merely alright. There can be a situation where it can see use and the cost reduction can be nice if you get multiple ferocity triggers. I can see it, but in an aggro based deck, the things you send back to your deck, like with, let's say, the Blood Claws, you're going to play them straight away again later on, and you're going to play them for pretty cheaply, so you don't really need a cost reduction, and at that point it's still costing you 2, and then you need to play a Blood Claw, which is costing you quite a bit. He's going to die very quickly with his only 3 life and camouflage, so yeah, I don't see how this guy is really sticking around, able to use multiple ferocity effects and get value out of it. It's only on turns. Since because it's so cheap, it can be used on a turn, and then you play some ferocity cards to get the combo going. But outside of that, I'm not seeing anything particularly amazing. You could argue B tier, but I'm putting him C tier. Wolves. These wolves, Fenrisian wolves, I think they're called. Are they S tier? Do they go in every deck? You can target attack people, so you can get around flying, which is stupid. If they got hunt mark, you get +2 melee. You've got tied 2 on these guys, so you can play just 6 worth, and you can do 9 damage to a single target if you need to, for whatever energy. Can this go in every single deck? You can go in the pack deck because you can get multiple of these guys in a single turn because of its tied ability. It can go for a ferocity deck. It can go for a hunt mark deck because it's going to synergize well with that. Nah, they're S tier. They're S tier. There's no single deck where I'm going, I don't want this guy out of like really niche scenarios. Just generic stuff decks. Yeah, you can go in every single one. Grey Hunter. It's perfectly alright, I think, within itself. It's a 2/2 free life, which is average stats for 2 costs. It gives something hunt mark. Just putting this in your deck, just as it is, I think it's perfectly fine, and I'm not seeing anything broken with it and needs a sort of dressing. I think it's fine. Saga of the Bold. Now, I wish they had more Saga cards, and there's like 3 different Saga cards, and then you could generate Saga cards somehow. But Saga of the Bold, give +2 health and +2 melee, +2 health to friendly troop. If you control 3 or more troops, draw a card. Could go in a pack deck. +2/+2 is pretty alright. Got I think the Empire card from Tal Empire. And that gives +2 health and +2 range for 2 costs, and that's seen as a decent card. So I don't see how this card is not decent. I'm not leaving in B tier. It could be really quite nice on a 3 cost card. Sorry, a card with armor on it into something which stays alive in itself, and then you're able to get multiple value out of that sort of thing. However, I'm not seeing anything particularly out of the ordinary amazing. The card draw can also be nice if you control 3 or more troops, but yes, it's a bit more later game. I think you could go well in a pack deck, maybe something you can attack twice with or whatever. If that can even be done with a troop, I don't think it can. I think it's perfectly right. The Fang goes in S tier. My god, I deploy a Grey Hunter, so it's automatically better than a Grey Hunter, because the Grey Hunter's effect isn't on a rally ability, it's just when it gets deployed. So you can just got that. You've got heal 4 to a friendly unit, most likely your Warlord to be able to keep it alive, so it's now just Anvil Endurance, but it has other options, making it better. So it's got like the combination of Grey Hunter, Anvil Endurance, and then also the option of drawing 2 cards. The Fang's really bloody good, I don't know what to say. Unbridled Fury, give +2 melee and -2 to your infantry until your next turn. It is a permanent buff, but you're going to use this in combination when you have a whole bunch of infantry on board and then go face. Really nice things with sort of pack decks somewhat. Just able to get that extra damage in, so they will just do a whole bunch of extra damage. Unbridled Fury, I see no reason to... It needs to be put in a particular deck. Is it a staple? Yes, so it might belong in A tier. I can definitely see that. But it is a dead card until that sort of final finisher card is just a finisher card. You don't really want to use it outside other scenarios, even though you can. I think it's strong though. Does it go anywhere else but here? Is it an A tier card? Is it a B tier card? I'm gonna leave in B tier for now. I think it's a good card though, for the right deck. Members of Prospero, this is your hard removal card, which kind of makes it a default necessary include in every single deck. It also has give Hallmark enemy troop, which is not that's overcosted, but if it has Hallmark, destroy it instead. Really nice combination with Ragnar Blackmane. If you're going to be running Blackmane, I would be running 2 copies in this in every single deck, to be frankly honest. If you're not really running it outside of that, I think it's... I'm going to leave in A tier for now. I can definitely see it at higher ups of A tier. Here, I think it's really actually quite a decent hard removal. You always got things like, where is it? Death Shun. Death Shun's a really good combination with that because it gives it first, and then you use Embers of Prosper and it instantly dies. In fact, why haven't I put Death Shun in S tier? It just gets you card draw, and it does a thing which is necessary. Nah, Death Shun needs to be put in S tier. Sorry, not A tier. Yeah, Death Shun needs to be in S tier. It's amazing in virtually all scenarios, so I think it belongs there. Embers of Prospero I'll put in A tier because it kind of needs the Death Shun setup, but I think everything else will be perfectly fine. Fenrisian Blizzard. Now put this here: deal 2 damage to all units and give them blind until your next step. So it does this to your own units, so your own units will gain blind. So if you're relying on that range attack to do something, it's really not great for you. There's also a free cost to deal 2 damage to all units, and we've already seen the 2 cost from the Black Legion from the beginning of the game deal 2 damage to all units already. So it's sort of a more expensive version than give them blind. Now it can be nice to give the opponent's Warlord blind, and instead of saying until your next turn, can be more helpful, but really it's just a Black Legion card, but costs more. The only thing is that this is kind of, from my perspective, the actual board clears the Space Wolves have got, not like really anything else. There's another one, which is legendary though. So it's Fenrisian Blizzard. I think it's B tier because I don't... If it only gave blind to the opponent's units, it would be in A tier, potentially S tier, but the fact that it gives blind to your units as well really makes it quite a massive downside actually, so it sort of stops things. It can be useful, but it's only in the scenarios where, I mean, like, you kind of want extra melee attack on your Warlord to be into your next turn, and really when it comes to extra attack stats on Warlords, most of the time then have extra melee anyway. There's a lot of Warlords which can get a lot of extra melee attack in different ways, so giving them blind isn't particularly great. So it's only useful in a situation where the opponent troop has really high range attack, and then you use that to just basically ignore the opponent's troop because you're removing their greater strength. I'm I'm not saying it's absolutely useless, however, I'm not seeing any sort of like particularly amazing thing. The only thing I can see, there's one card later on which has flank, and that's like high range attack from the Space Wolves. So I can see that's a combination play where you do Friend Rising Blizzard first, then you play that card. But I'm not seeing anything absurd or anything like that. So I'm just keep Friend Rising, even though it's like, it is a board clear, it does its job. However, not seeing anything particularly amazing. Now, Fenrir and what is he? A pack. Friendly units have pack, and friendly units with pack have invulnerable during your turn. Now, it's just during your turn. However, invulnerable is a really powerful effect. It has good stats in the fact that it's got 5 life. It also has pack himself, so he's going to get increased attacks the more and more stuff you put down. I struggle to see... Maybe he's just A tier. He might just be A tier. Because of the Canis Helix. He might just be A tier. He gives himself invulnerable during his turn as well, so that's pretty good with pack of 1 if you're able to play him like turn 4, pack of 1 with him. He's now 6 life, 4 attack, and guess what? He's invulnerable, so he trades or something and he just doesn't die. And then he's just invulnerable. He's giving other things to pack invulnerable. It could give you a Warlord invulnerable in the right situation if you're able to give you a Warlord pack, which there is something which can do that. However, I don't think he's only going to go in the pack deck. I don't think he's just going to always go inside every single deck, so I think he belongs there. Next up, we've got the Grey Hunter pack Legionary? Grey Hunter pack leader, the Benag. Yes, Grey Hunter pack leader. This guy, yeah, he's S tier. He's a free in cost, and he's gonna give like, what was it? It's plus 3 life, plus 3 melee, plus 3 attack, and plus 4 life. That's what I'm saying. It's like plus 4 range attack. I mean, like, there's an argument to say this guy goes into the broken tier. He's that good. There's really is an argument to say he is actually on another level and he belongs into that broken tier. And needs an, actually I think he does need a nerf. So I think giving free cost, yeah, free cost, giving something else plus 3, plus 3, plus 4. He has pack himself, so he's not even bad in like in a pack deck because he's got pack himself and you can support that go wide strategy. I think he's pretty darn good, and there's like no reason not to include this guy in virtually. Yeah, I'm more than happy to include this guy in every single deck. I think he actually does belong in that low broken tier. I think those stats given for Ferocity is way too good. Then when I come on to another card later on, which costs 2 more than this, and all it gives is plus 2 range and plus 1 more range and plus 1 more melee. There's a reason why that costs 5, and it's understandable. The fact that this costs 3 and then you can keep on using it later and later on. No, this guy is broken. He does not belong here at all. So next up we got Hunter's Guile. I think this is another B tier card. Drawing 2 cards is nice, however doing it for a free cost is a bit expensive. Giving troops hunt mark for every troop you drawn makes sense in for like Ferocity sort of deck. However, it's not the most amazing card draw. You know, ultimately you've got the Fang at the end of the day, and the Fang just draw 2 cards, where this is also draw 2 cards, but that's for 1 less, and if you don't need a card draw, you have other options. So I struggle to see why you would use the Hunter's Guile as soon as you have the Fang, really. I think it's just merely alright. Proper Hunt is... It's one of those... I think it's a really good card. I think giving you a Wall of Bloodthirst is really nice. It's just a finisher sort of combo in the right situation. The problem is that you need to get into the right situation with it. And there is a lack of things which, weirdly enough, give extra melee attack to your Warlord. However, I can't say without any like unreasonableness that like this cannot be a bad. This just can't be a bad card. I can't put anything less than A tier. Maybe B tier because it's right situation. It might be a bit situational for Space Wolves because you have to increase your Warlord's attack to actually utilize it. But surely, like, there are ways, and even though the situation is difficult to come by, there are ways, and it is possible, and you can get your Warlord attack really high. and by doing that you will just get him to just punch face twice. Can be absolutely crucial in the right situation. So I think it belongs in at least A tier. Raid tactics, yeah, no doubt S tier. This is what I was concerned about with Nigel Stormcaller. I don't think his ability is actually particularly amazing, but playing things for free is really quite nice. The thing is raid tactics. This is another broken card with ferocity. Whenever you trigger ferocity, deal 2 damage to the enemy ward. That is just way too much damage and stacks far too much over time. The damage you can get out of this card is absurd, and is not alright. It can kill your opponent really quickly if you get it early enough, and if you just chuck all the ferocity things in your deck, chuck some decent card draw, like you don't need to use Nigel Stormcaller. In fact, I'd probably use Logan Grimnar, to be frankly honest, in that sort of style of deck where you're just doing a whole bunch of raid and ferocity effects. I don't think it's alright. It will kill your opponent in a short amount of time, and it's a lot quicker than you think it is. Get enough card draw, get enough ferocity things, is dangerous. It's not alright. Next up, we've got Thunderwolf Cavalry, and this guy's a 3/3 with 4 life, which is perfectly fine stats, and rally give hunt mark to enemy troop. Now, considering what we've got on the list already, I kind of want to put him in C tier. Just because even though I don't think he's actually a bad card, like he's really just a B tier card, because there's no complaints about effects, about his effect, there's no complaints really about his stats. The stats are perfectly fine. Its effects do a job you need it to. It's got beasts which have certain synergies. I think I've got real no complaints about that. I don't think this is a bad card at all. I just think it's just compared to everything else, I'm just there going, well, it's kind of a bit expensive almost what it does for Space Wolves, but actually I can't justify putting it anything lower than B tier, because at the end of the day, Space Wolves I do not think are alright. So yeah, this is a very good card. Next up, we've got Wolfguard Head Taker. This guy is a very good card. He is an S tier card despite being a common. It's got Pack, which is just a really powerful effect. It's 4/2 with 4 life, nothing to be sniffed at there in terms of stats, and it's also got a rally ability to create a Hunting Wolf in your hand. You see these Hunting Wolves right here, they're really decent cards. The problem with Hunting Wolf in many decks is that at 1 cost, you start losing value later in the game, but the fact that you get this body and then also the Hunting Wolf, it's really nice. You can make this guy be a 3-drop, you can also effectively be a 4-drop because you play this guy and then you also get a Hunting Wolf, and the Hunting Wolf is do its thing. It's also just an extra body for this guy to get extra pack things triggered off, so he's got better stats effectively. Yeah, I struggle to see why this guy is not anything but that S tier. He can go in so many decks and there's like really no downside to it. Then we got the Wolf Priest, and the Wolf Priest, I'm putting it in 8 for now. When a friendly unit dies with Hunting Mark, they'll heal 2 to a friendly unit, most likely to your Warlord, and heal 2 to the friendly unit, most likely your Warlord. So he's not able to really stack up this heals. If we get enough Hunt Marks going, he is only a 2/2 in stats, but he does have 5 life, so he's going to stick around most likely for at least a single turn. You just need to figure out ways of getting Hunt Mark. So I have to put him in A tier, because even though I really think it's a brilliant sort of control sort of piece and will keep your Warlord alive, most likely your Warlord, or maybe some Vanguard troops if you get them big enough and hard enough to kill sort of thing. I don't think he's I think A tier, just because he's not belonging in every single deck, and he's not like I've got to put him, I have to put him in a Hunt Mark deck. I can't put him in Ferocity deck, really. You could, but you can't really put him in a Pack deck. I don't think it works. I don't think it really works on Ferocity deck. You kind of just want more things with Ferocity. But in a Hunt Mark deck, I can see it, and particularly if you're going for control. Then we got Frisian Monstrosities. Now, I'm going to put him in S tier for now. This could be in a broken tier. It deals 3 damage to all units, plus 2 additional damage for each enemy with Hunt Mark. I can see this going up to 5 cost. I really can. I don't have the card, I haven't tested it, but this is just my initial thoughts, initial reactions, and I can just say, yeah, this card seems not alright. The ability to clear the board, but it's also 2 damage, but It might be fine as is the thing. It might be fine. It might be just perfectly fine actually doing 3 damage to all troops. You know, things can go wide. It can be helpful. I think probably fine. It's a hard one to say. I don't know. Next up, we've got Horde Slayer. Now, I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's a hard one to say because it's Horde Slayer sets up like every single synergy that the Space Wolves ever want. The problem is that's 4 cost and then setting up, and then you need like energy to also actually do the synergy with it. For example, friendly mission monstrosities deal 5 damage to all troops. Effectively, you want it really good with Horde Slayer. You do Horde Slayer, friendly mission monstrosities, entire combo, very dangerous, very scary. However, it's an 8 energy combo and you kind of need you need both cards, so I think it belongs in B tier. It's in a weird case where you just need it able to somehow live long enough to able to use Horde Slayer and get it in the right situations, because when you do, it can be absolutely amazing. I can only see it being amazing, but then you also need to able to get to that point where it does become amazing, if you see what I'm saying. And you need it against it like a go wide, somewhat go wide deck. Although when you get into late game, you know, even the medium sized decks somewhat start putting multiple things at the same time, and that's when it also becomes useful even then. So yeah, I'm not leaving it in B tier. I think it's pretty decent. We got what is it? Wolf cavalry guy leader, I think. No, flippin' heck, it's not that guy. No, it's the legendary guy. I was thinking of the wolf cavalry leader, this guy over here, the one I revealed. No, it's Half the Iron Howl. Yeah, this guy's broken. Let me explain to the tier list, and in terms of tier list, it would probably, I mean, I can do broken tier right now. This guy belongs to the top. What you do is that you fill your deck with purely stratagems, 29 stratagems, and then you get this guy. This guy, what he does is rally ability, turn all your stratagems into basically these and these, and then what he does is all things with pack, all beasts have cost 1 less and have pack. So he's a beast because he's on a wolf, so he's gonna have pack. All these guys cost 1 less. These guys cost nothing because they cost 1 less. They have pack, and then so hence you have this entire hand all with stratagems, and then you just have a whole bunch of pack synergies. It's kind of crazy. So what you do is that you go something like you go Logan Grimnar. He pulls it from your deck. You got this guy. You then have a whole bunch of stratagems. You then have like things like the Fang, and then you would also include things like Hunter's Guile, because any type of card draw at that point is useful. Just more stratagems in your hand, the better. You play these to turn 2, so you play Logan's turn 1, this turn 2, turn 3 you play this guy. You draw all the stratagems into your hand. So you have all the stratagems in your hand, and what is that? Like you've, what, you know, like let's say you go second. So you have 4 cards in your starting hand. You've drawn a card, so you go up to 5 cards. You go up to 6 cards, go down a card, draw more 2 cards. So you go up to 8 cards. That's fine. You now have 8 stratagems in your hand, and then you on average you know make 4 of these guys, and then 4 of these guys, and then you just play a whole bunch of these. They can deal with whatever, and then you just have this guy with crazy stats, and then you also just have this straight away, and you're just doing the entire combo. Maybe you wait a little bit of turns just so you have 2 extra energy, so you can play a couple of these guys, so you can get a really wide board depending on what you're playing against. I think it's absurd, because now you have a whole bunch of wolves which have all a pack. You play multiple pack things, they all have increased stats. They've got to deal with this guy and then also all these guys straight away, so they need like a board clear, but then they need a board clear to then also able to deal with this guys, and it's all on full cost. So basically, unless they've got Fenris and monstrosities and you're playing against a Space Wolf mirror, they really do not have the card. Storm Raven's not going to deal with it. I guess you could be playing Chaos Space Marines and you can go Spawn them, because you can track Spawn them into killing this guy, and then they don't have pack anymore, and then the whole synergy sort of absurd stats go away. You could also potentially have double Trader's Hate as Chaos, and then that would work as well. Yeah, this is absurd. No, this guy, if I was gonna create a broken tier, this guy would belong in it, and it would be the only thing in it, and yeah, this guy just needs to be absolutely dealt with. It's not alright. Next up, we've got the Iron Priest, and the Iron Priest, as much as it's cool, it's a 3/2 with 6 life. That's pretty tanky for a 4 cost, but you know, a free attack there. Friendly vehicles have regenerate. He's got draw card. I can't not put him in. Whoops. I can't not put him in at least B tier. He's just got draw a vehicle. I've got no complaints about that at all, just drawing a vehicle. I kind of wanted to put him because his stats are pretty poor. Like, he doesn't have really the attack stats, but then he just have draw a vehicle. I mean, like, that's the thing, you can just draw into drop pods, so I don't see how he's not at least B tier. He's darn good. Does it not work? Okay, cool. Next up, we're gonna be going over here. Yep. Next up, we've got the Long Fangs, and when this unit attacks an enemy with Hunt Mark, deal 3 damage to adjacent units. This is the first D tier. It's a 2/5 with 5 life. It's got Hunt Mark, deal 3 damage to adjacent units. That's pretty nice. It's got 5 range attack. Yeah, is this guy the first D tier card? Because like, even with Wolf Scouts, is this guy truly unplayable? No, it kind of does do its thing. You can get Hunt Mark, you can do it. It's just that this guy does belong specifically in a Hunt Mark sort of style of deck. Is this guy truly unplayable? His stats aren't terrible actually. It's 2/5 5 life. It's got life, it's got some range attack, so it can take out something if it lives. No, I'm gonna leave it in C tier. Scouts are cheap enough so that they've got a nice combo to go with it, even if the stats aren't particularly great. The stats are alright, and its ability is poor. It's very hard to set up, but it's not the worst in the world, so meh. Thunderwolf Cavalry Pack Leader. He does have better synergies than like the Thunderwolf Cavalry. Maybe Thunderwolf Cavalry does go into C tier. I remember talking about it. Thunderwolf Cavalry Pack Leader though, maybe it's just like higher end of B tier. It has the synergy to give +1 melee attack to your units, which is pretty nice. If you manage to get multiple hunt marks, that can be quite interesting in a proper hunt sort of combo, but you need to get it this turn. So you kind of need to be doing something quite late game to get a proper hunt mark, proper hunt sort of synergy combo and kill the opponent. But I'm not saying you can't. It's just nothing particularly amazing. He might belong in A tier. However, I'm not seeing anything particularly crazy. Maybe lower end of A tier. I'm not leaving A tier for now. Maybe lower end of A tier because there's some things we need to fit in this B tier. Like the Wolfen. Wolfen, there's nothing to complain about this guy. It's 5/3, 5 life. It's got Pack. Pack has a decent effect where it's just going to increase stats, able to trade higher sort of thing. It's stats, there's nothing to really complain about in particular. It's just kind of generic and boring because it literally is just Pack and then nothing else with it. Overall, I think this is a pretty alright card. Then we got the specific Wolfen Pack Leader. It's got Pack. It's a 4/3 with 4 life, so it's got one that's life than Wolfen, regular Wolfen, and one that's melee compared to regular Wolfen, but it's got Ferocity. Deal 5 damage to random enemy troop if it has 10 or more. If there's no other troops, deal 10 or more to a random enemy troop. Kind of crazy, kind of absurd. You're doing 10 damage to an enemy troop. It can kill pretty much anything in the game. It's got Ferocity trigger, so you can keep on going. It's like late game removal on a stick. The only thing is, I guess it's random, but then sometimes that's better because it's random because it's able to kill things in stealth. It's almost like a no mucking about, but it can return back to your deck so you can use it again. That's almost what it is. It's kind of crazy. I'm half tempted to put it in broken tier, but yeah, does it belong in a broken tier? Can we consider it putting it broken tier? I'm leaving S tier for now, although I do think it is overtuned. No, if it's overtuned, I'm saying this guy is overtuned. However, if it's overtuned, I think, and it needs some kind of nerf. Although, no, I think you can get away with Professor Monstrosities being a nerf, not being nerfed, and just being its strongest card in the Space Wolf deck. Wolf and Pack Leader, though, I think it does far too much. I think it needs to be base damage. It probably needs to be reduced from 5 to 4, maybe. And the extra damage needs to be reduced from like 10 to 7. It cannot, yeah, like 5 to 4 and then 10 to 7. It cannot be left how it is when it does, like, there's nothing else on the board. It needs to be something like that. Next up, we've got Arjack Rockfist, and I think there's, I'm like, he's a 5 cost. It's got 5 life. Nothing particularly amazing. It's got 6/4 stats, nothing particularly amazing. He's able to give something vulnerable for this turn, which is pretty nice, and when he hits something with Hunt Mark, it instantly dies. I think in a Hunt Mark deck, yeah, it can be used. I think it's got generically alright stats, or pretty good stats actually, slightly above. The rally ability to give something vulnerable can be really quite nice. I just think it's like a solid card, but nothing particularly special, to be honest. It's weird for a legendary in that sense, but yeah, it does its job. Plasma Inceptor guys. Yeah, I think these guys are, they're flank troop. They've got flying, they've got 5 life, they've got 5 range attack, they've got strike ability if it's 5 to gain Hunt Mark. I'm not really complaining about this guy whatsoever. It's really the flank flying 5 range attack, 5 life. It does its job. I think it will be necessary inside every single deck, maybe outside a combo deck where you go Logan Grimnar and a Howl Iron Wolf sort of combo, but outside of that, I think you just use this guy. You just put it in all decks. They're crucial, like, sort of removal flank piece that you desperately need in that sort of mid game. The Hunt Mark's also nice for certain synergies. Nothing really to complain here. I think it does its job. And it does a necessary job that no other card really does, so you kind of want this. Next up, we got Fenrisian Drop Pod, and yeah, this card is never broken. I'm gonna make sure to put it at least here compared to the other two. We'll go to the other two and we'll sort out order later on, but Fenrisian Drop Pod, I think, yeah, just the fact that it's a 5 cost and, like, it has 7 life, it has 1 armor. Like, this is hard to remove. It also has flying and free range attack, which makes up for the 0 melee. It's just absurd. It really is. It's just absurd. You just play it straight away. You get 9 life worth of stats for 5 costs. That's just too much stats. I mean, like, think about it for what it is. It's a 7/1, which kind of has to be dealt with straight away. If you play it on a troop, and then they're able to just use it next turn, effectively you end up getting 9 life worth of stats, 6 attack worth of stats. I mean, like, we're talking about 7 cost units here, not 5 cost units for those level of stats, for that amount of stats. We're talking about a 7 cost, which is a 9/6 worth of stats, and then you effectively heal free to your warlord, and you deal free damage to the opponent's warlord, because these guys, where are they? Grey Hunters, they have hunt. This is just not alright. It's just like, his 9/6 worth of stats, heal free to my warlord, deal free damage to your warlord. Like, even as a tempo police, you're just not going to use the ferocity effect, it's still a free attack with 7 life and 1 armor. It's hard to remove at 5 energy. You kind of just need hard removal. Now, granted, if someone does leave this on the field, and they leave it as a 7/1 as it is, and I have hard removal, guess what? I'm going to use hard removal. If I've got a tactical insight eradicator, if I'm playing Ultramarines, guess what? I'm going to use it, and I'm going to kill it straight away. Because my golly, I don't want the single ferocity effect. I don't want this keep on coming back and doing its thing. But the fact that you can just, like, literally cannot deal with this card in any sort of capability or way is kind of absurd. In my opinion, it's really, really powerful. Next up, we've got Frostclaw Wolfen. Does this guy belong any higher? Does he belong in the A tier? This got pack, it's got, you know, it's got 1 more melee and it's got 1 armor, and 1 armor is a little bit more valuable than 1 life. It costs 1 more compared to the Wolfen. I think it's just merely B tier. I can see somewhat people saying it's A tier because the pack's really quite nice and it's got that 1 armor, making it actually quite difficult to kill. However, I think it is killable and, you know, it does do its job, so I'd leave it as it is, as B tier card. Oh no complaints over that. Next up, we've got Legendary Tenacity, and yeah, despite it being legendary and great tenacity, it is 5 cost to give something +4, +4, and +3 life 1 time. I mean, like, I was talking about these two. I'm just bringing this down for now. Talking about these two, this is 3 cost and it gives it +3, +3, +4, and it returns to your deck so you can do it later on again as well. This is a 1-time effect and gives it +4, +4, +4. It's just like 1 less melee attack and 1 less range attack, but for 2 less cost. That is absurd. He also has pack as well, so if you do keep him around and don't use it straight away, guess what? You could potentially get lethal with this guy. Yeah, it's not alright. This thing, however, just 2 more cost makes it way more slower. Trying to find synergies in particular units you desperately want to use it on. The best case scenario is probably to use it with Logan Grimnar, and you put it on his sort of unique card, giving it +4 melee and +4, you know, +4 life. Can be really powerful there. However, you need it in the right situation, and to be honest, I'd rather have like Grey Hunters to do that job and to be able to buff that card instead of other cards. You could use it here, but only in that situation where I'd want to use it with Logan Grimnar. Hence it belongs in C tier. It's not completely useless. There are situations where it, you know, it starts justifying itself more, but it's really, really, really slow to get the value out of it, I think. Next up, we've got Wolfguard Battle Leader, and yeah, this guy is an A tier card. Hold on, let me put in A tier. It gives pack to adjacent units. Pack is a very powerful effect. It's one of the things you're able to give pack to your Warlord with, hence it's like the major thing for proper hunt, because you get go wide. He's a trooper in itself, so he at least always gives basically +1 attack to your Warlord. If you put it next to your Warlord, it gives something else pack as well, so it's get plus stats to them as well. And you just get multiple things. It stacks up. I struggle to see how he's anything but A tier. I don't think he belongs in that S tier because I don't think he belongs in every single deck. You know, I'm thinking the reason why he's so powerful right now is more because of Frenzy Drop Pod. But yeah, he's very strong, and I struggle to see how he's not going to be strong later on. Got these Terminators. On a bit, he could be A tier, he could be B tier. This guy, he's got Vanguard, he's got 2 armor, which is the main thing, but he does have very bad stats, which is 4-2, 4 life, but the main thing is he's got 2 armor. The slay ability is a decent effect actually, but you do need to find something to slay. He's he's like the best guy to be buffed up. Like, Legendary Tenacity on this guy is actually really quite good. You know, as a 10 cost play, yes, it's 10 cost, but you do get an 8/6 now with 8 life with 2 armor. As an 8 cost play, which you would much rather do, is you play as Great Hunter Pack Leader on this guy, and now you've got a 7/5 with also 8 life. And, you know, it's only 8 cost at the end of the day. We're talking about some cards which are really like ideal buff cards on this guy. It would suddenly make Anvil Endurance on this guy really quite decent. Hence, I think he's B tier. In the right decks, I think he can really shine and become really amazing. However, I'm not seeing this guy as anything like game-breaking broken. I think he belongs in the right deck. I think he belongs, and he belongs well. He will protect your Warlord. He's got that Vanguard. He's very good there. However, outside of that, I'm not seeing anything like crazy good. Next up, we've got the Black Main Aggressor. He's got pack, he's got rally, give +1 health to all friendly units with pack. In theory, if you've got the Warlord, he's a 5/5 with 6 life. If for 6 cost, that's nothing amazing. I'm not saying he's absolutely terrible, so hence he's not in D tier. However, the stats increase is alright. He does give +1 health to all friendly units with pack, so I think he gives +1 life to himself actually. I'll need to test that. He does make him a 5/5 with 7 life in that case. The thing is it's 6 cost, and it's sort of like a buff you want a like low cost troop to be able to give such a level of buff. It's only +1 life. It's nothing particularly amazing, you know, hence it's only going to be particularly useful in the right situation in a particular pack deck. And he's not like the most amazing card in the world. He's certainly relying on pack a bit more. I think he's C tier. Next up we got Let Loose. Is this a B tier card? Each friendly beast gets +1 melee this turn and attacks a random enemy. I mean, that can be really quite a nice finisher sort of card if you have all the cards sort of synergies going. However, you do kind of need it. You know, need to like... no, I think this is C tier as well. Let Loose. Yes, the extra attack can be nice. Don't get me wrong. It can be sort of a nice finisher card. However, I think there's better finisher cards out there. So I don't think it's anything amazing. I'm just trying to find the finisher shard which surely we showed earlier. It's something like fur. Where's the finisher card? Ah, this card. But that's only in B tier. You need this sort of setup, and it's like, don't get me wrong, this will be used in cards and decks where you have Fenrir Drop Pod, but I deem that down to more Fenrir Drop Pod as a finisher. It's been really broken rather than this card, so I think it's merely alright. I think this is just too expensive to do its job. You will see this card, I'd say, inside the Logan Grimnar Power Wolf so-and-so combo, just because attacking twice with your beast in the right synergy, right place can be really, really devastating. However, at the same time, I'm not seeing anything like... I see that more down to Dean, this guy, setting up that exact scenario. And then at the same time, you need to be able to play this, then wait a turn, and then you have to top deck this. Like, no. It's, yes, you can use it in your deck, that deck, and yes, you get the whole combo off. Absolutely devastating. If you weren't to kill them one turn beforehand, that's not guarantee it. However, I'm not really seeing that there, to be honest. I think it's C tier. It could even arguably be D tier. Oh, is it D tier? Here's the question. It can only be used in the beast deck. It's only valuable in the beast deck. There's the one deck I talked about, and do I even include it in that deck because it's not even likely? I mean, like, there's not enough beasts. Like, you got this guy. You got these. I guess you got these. Getting them an attack early. Like, just generic beast deck. They don't have pack within themselves. Hence, they're not going to be that full friendly beasts. Attack a random guy. That can be nice, but most of the beasts are dying straight away. So it's only really this guy. And, like, yeah, you only include it in this deck, and that's because he's broken at the end of the day. No, this, I wouldn't even include it. No, Let Loose doesn't even go in its right deck. Because I don't think it's good enough, and I'd rather have just generic other things as well. Maybe I'll just include it just purely because it's a stratagem, and if you get extremely lucky, maybe you can get something. But that's more of this guy breaking the game rather than this being good. Like, no, it doesn't belong there. Sons of Mordecai Eliminator. This card, I've tested it, I've used it myself. It's not an A tier card, it is an S tier card. It's able to remove things in stealth. It's really good controlled piece. It can be used in aggro decks because sometimes you just need that removal piece and not die next turn to a stealth unit. It's absolutely crazy good and is not alright. I think this guy could use a nerf, but I think he's not on the same level as these guys. Like, this guy is just like a better Sons of Mordecai Eliminator effectively with that 10 attack just dealing to anything. This guy at least is only merely 7 for 6, but he does get that hunt mark sort of synergy going, so he's really nice there as well. I think he's just, yeah. Even though I do think it's kind of like Fenrir monstrosities. Like, these are not going to go top of S tier because I think they could also justify being nerfed, to be frankly honest, unlike some of the other things in S tier. It's just that these things are so much more absurd that I can't put them at the same level. They are not the same level of problem. Where were we? Terminator Rune Priest. Now this guy he's 5/5, 6 life, 1 armor. Because of the 1 armor, that's not bad stats, you know, nothing to complain about there. Things with a hunt mark. It's one of those guys you want to try and use with Horde Slayer and get the synergy off. Can be really quite powerful in that sort of scenario, although it's not amazingly powerful because it's only doing 2 to 3 damage. It's not like doing 3 damage to them. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's really difficult to evaluate, in my personal opinion, because I'm like there going, he doesn't feel terrible stats wise. The couple things with Hunt Mark, receiving 2 to 3 damage, won't be the worst thing in the world. However, I'm not looking at anything amazing. I don't think he's the same as Black Main Aggressor. No, I don't think so. I think it's B tier, but only B tier. He can belong in decks. He does do a job. He's quite nice. He's alright for that, but I'm not seeing anything particularly amazing out of this guy. So I think he belongs here. Next up, we've got the Wolfguard Terminator, and yep, this guy does belong in A tier. He's got the stats, he's got the Vanguard, he's got 1 armor. There's nothing really to complain about this guy. He can go in virtually any deck, but particularly crowd control decks, I would say in particular. He doesn't belong in S tier because he's not doing anything broken, but I think he is perfectly alright, and I think he does deserve in place in A tier. Yeah, he's pretty good. Then we got Birth of a Saga. Now, I feel like this card should be the card we should be talking about being nerfed, and not the cards above. But yeah, this card's S tier at least. I haven't tested it, so it could be even more powerful, but each player deploys 3 cards from their deck. Your troops deploy this way, get flank and 3 armor. And the funny thing is that against Dark Angels, this is a very high risk, high reward sort of card, because you could discover that they just got their double Deathwing Terminators and whatever Vanguard piece, and then you're just going, they just got all the teleport buffs, and next turn they just go Deathwing Assault, and then they're just going, they just did all the teleport things again. Like you can just imagine it, just like, oh dear, I just made the wrong life choices, when you just play Birth of a Saga and then just Deathwing just comes down and trigger their teleports. But presumably Birth of Saga does do that. It presumably does trigger teleports because each player deploys three troops from their deck. Your troops gain flank and 3 armor. Now thankfully your troops have flank and 3 armor. It's going to be really ideal for something like these guys with that 4 armor and like whatever Land Raiders, and we'll talk about certain units which could really benefit from it. As being crucial removal pieces, of course you're an opponent in the right deck. I think it's definitely very strong. The idea is that you use your troops to kill the opponent's troops because they've got the extra armor, but you know, very scary stuff. I think hence it wise belongs in S tier, but just watch out using it against Dark Angels. That's what I want to say. Might want to save it until they've played both their Deathwing Knights, Night Masters, because if you don't, you could just be falling right into a trap, and those things are difficult to kill. So yeah, I think extremely strong though in the right deck, and can just win you games on the spot, sort of thing. Murderfang. This is like one of the things you would probably put in that style of deck. I think it's only B tier. It is a 7 cost. It has 1 armor. It's an 8/5, 8 life. Pretty tanky, you know, wants to be hard removal. It's got Pack, it's got Slay, Heal 2 and gain Bloodthirst this turn. Nothing really to complain about, but he is just a bit slow at the end of the day, Murderfang, so I'm not really like, yay. If he does go into Birth of Saga, I can definitely see him in that deck. He's gonna get those Slay effects straight away, sort of thing. I can definitely see him in a Slay deck like that, but I think that's more Birth of Saga rather than Murderfang itself. But I think he's perfectly alright. If he's going to be a big threat when he comes onto the board, however he's not going to be destroying the world when he comes onto the board, sort of thing. Got Stormwolf. Stormwolf, I really don't rate this card from initial impressions. I don't like it. When an enemy with hunt marks dies, get Grey Hunter, it does mean that the Grey Hunter will deploy straight away. You get another guy with hunt mark, that can keep on going and going in theory, but you need to keep on killing stuff, and Hunt Mark doesn't actually allow you to kill stuff. You just get bonus effects when you do, and it sort of like increases the bonus effects from it. We're not looking at anything particularly amazing stats. Like, it's got flying, and don't get me wrong, that helps with the 7 range attack and the 7 life. You know, presumably they have to be trading into that, but this guy does die to a veteran Stormboy, and the veteran Stormboy's got 3 life still. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's the worst thing ever, so hence it's not D tier, but I don't think it's the best thing ever. To get its synergy sort of going, you kind of need a bit of a setup. And I think that's my personal opinion on that. Vindicator is at least B tier. The rally ability to deal 3 damage is nice. It's just might be a bit expensive for that almost, but then the Hunt Mark, I think it's A tier because I think it actually does belong in a Hunt Mark deck. You got to remember, oh no, you can use it to go face. You're not going to deal 6 damage to face, but you can always just deal 3 damage to face with this guy if you need to, just to be able to get that finisher going. But it is also just 6 damage to unit of Hunt Mark, and it's got good stats. It's got 8 life, it's 7/7, you can't trick the trade. You're going to trade into it, it's gonna do some damage, it's gonna just kill something on Hunt Mark. So I've got nothing wrong with that guy. Beyond the fell-handed, yeah, this guy is sort of your board clear. I think he does belong in that S tier. Its status, I think he deserves it. That sort of board clear, and then the big stats as well. He does something when he comes into straight away. There's also a ferocity effect, which is not a trigger of raid tactics, so you know that's a thing, and it just keeps other things with ferocity in play, which means that you actually have to deal with them tempo wise, which is really important for this guy because this guy's got 9 life and 1 armor, which you know is perfectly fine. Yeah, deals with board, so and so thing. The only thing I would say is that I wish it did 3 damage to all troops, and only troops, and like not all units. Instead of just a 2 to 3 damage, so it actually does do the board clear effect properly, but then isn't useless. I've got a real complaint. I made a whole video about it. How board clears in this game don't do 3 damage to troops, which I think all board clears should really, in some sort of way. And so hence I've still got the same complaint with this guy. Maybe he's not S tier then, because he sometimes just doesn't actually deal with the board, and then you just die the next turn. Like, you got a big guy, but he doesn't have Vanguard. Don't know. Maybe he's not right. Maybe he should belong in here. Maybe he's not S tier because he's just too expensive. Don't know what, I can definitely see that. I can certainly see in an aggro deck not take, yeah, in an aggro deck you don't actually take this guy because he's just too expensive. So no, he's only A tier. Venerable Dreadnought, kind of the same problem with the Stormwolf. This guy is far too expensive. Now he does have a crazy combo with Horde Slayer, where he's able to get the things going, and I'm kind of considering Horde Slayer to go down now because I'm rating Terminator to be not the greatest. You know, this guy I don't think to be the greatest, but don't get me wrong, if you do get this guy and then also Horde Slayer, and they do have an entire board, Venerable Dreadnought is going to be crazy good, dealing 1 to 2 damage to the target and also to adjacent. What that means is that every single troop is going to take pretty much 3 damage. It's only like the ones next to the board. So there's 8 guys. It does do its job. It's going to be a minimum 3 damage, or it's going to be more because it does 1 to 2 to the target and adjacent. It's don't get me wrong, strong combo, but you kind of need the entire combo, making it a very expensive card for that combo. So it's a one to say. I can certainly see it in a control deck. Maybe in the right deck, it certainly could be B tier. But then like this is really the right deck sort of like list, so yeah. Next up, we've got Throne-Raising Wolfpack, and this is a card I can certainly see with Horde Slayer because it deploys, you know, one of the wolves. So when I say one of the wolves, this wolf or this wolf deploys one of the wolves for each enemy unit, which counts the warlords. So you always, like, if they've got 4 troops on the board, this will always deploy 5 wolves at the end of the day. And basically, it costs 1 loss for every single Hunt Mark which is on an enemy troop. Of course, it costs 9. So if there's 8 guys on the board, Horde Slayer, suddenly this is going to cost 1. Which means that this is a 5 energy combo. Really nice for taking out Scarabs as a combo sort of thing. That's what I'm thinking about. Also just like Sisters if they ever go wide or something like that. But you kind of need Horde Slayer to set it up. And you suddenly don't be using it in a Hunt Mark sort of deck. So I'm going to keep it as it is in B tier. It could belong... There's certain situations where it belongs in A tier because it's going to be that good, but there's also certain situations where it really belongs in C tier, so I'm going to leave it at B. Wolf and Dreadnought. If this guy just costs 1 more, he has like better stats, but then he gives +2 attack to all friendly units with pack, including himself, so he's actually like a 12-8. Meh? Like, eh? I'm not like against. Like, what situation you're gonna be in where you have a whole bunch of pack units and then that +2 melee attack is really gonna make all the difference in the world? Like, if you really wanted +2 melee attack, why not use Unbridled Fury? Is this guy D tier? Because it's so expensive as well, and what does he actually do? He exists in Birth of a Saga. But it's a rally ability, so it's rally. That's not a trigger in Birth of the Saga. All he does is just makes himself a 12-8 with 9 life and 1 armor. That's what it is. Can you give, like, for him to give your warlord armor, +2 melee, you have to be in a situation where you've got this guy next to your warlord. He has to be alive, and then you use this. Like, what? It's only at best buffing high-end pack units. That's all it's doing. Which means Murderfang, Frostclaw Wolfen. You know, these are all like really maybes. Now, first impressions, this guy's absolutely terrible, and I wouldn't want to use him in like this late game Birth Saga deck. Venerable Dreadnought I could see in a late game Venerable Saga deck, because Venerable Dreadnought, I see other uses for it. I see Horde Slayer for it, and I can see that in the Birth of the Saga deck, these sort of like Hunt Mark synergy kind of like pieces. I can see it, is my point. This guy, he only exists because of, would exist in a deck because of Birth of the Saga. And every single time you draw him, not from Birth of the Saga, you're gonna be disappointed, I think. I just don't see, like, this... Why would you need to give +1 melee attack to all your things to pack when you've got an entire board all with pack anyway? With this guy. Like, there is no reason to play this guy. No, there's not a single one. Finally, we've got the Land Raider. And I actually think the Land Raider belongs in B tier. I think it's just a perfectly alright unit for a 10 cost, which is kind of crazy because in this game getting a perfectly alright unit which is also 10 cost is difficult. But this guy's got 12 life, it's got 6 melee attack which is lowest stats, and it's got Vanguard. Within itself, that's doing a good enough job of standing in the way to be a problem. They actually have to use hard removal it or they have to kill it. They don't have the choice of ignoring it, which is one of the major problems with a 10 drop. Is that can they just ignore it and kill you? Can they stun it and sort of ignore it? So can they just ignore it? Can it be hard removaled? And does it do anything? Well, they can't ignore it because it's got Vanguard. And that's sort of like a thing. And can they ignore it? You could argue they could damage the face, but thankfully it's got ability with your warlord gains armor too. So that's going to protect your warlord. Meaning that they can't just do a whole bunch of pings to face, which means that it's still doing a job of protecting, so it's protecting your warlord in 2 ways. Which means that it can't really be ignored, and it can't be ignored at all because of its Vanguard and its other ability. And so hence getting around it can still be hard removaled, it can still be like stunned and stuff. Yes, things can still be done to it, and so hence it's not breaking every single fundamental problem with 10 drops. Is that like, do they do anything? Can they ignore it? Do they do anything? Can they ignore it? And can they just hard removal it? Like, it can still be hard removaled, and it doesn't do particularly much outside of those two things, but it can't be ignored. So it's not like where Bjorn like does something. That's why he's good, because he comes down and he does damage to the board and he keeps your thingies in the way. Like, he does something. This guy costs more, but at least he can't be ignored, and that's why I think he at least deserves to be in B tier. So yeah, this is the entire collection of Space Wolves. Now I'm going to go on to the counter-attack cards, and I'm just going to put them all in A tier for now and decide where they should belong. So I think the first one is Orbital Defense. Really quite nice with Ragnar, because it's for free, you get to deal 1 damage to enemy, you get a Hunt Mark. It's just Hunt Mark synergies in particular. I'm not particularly complaining about that against for any Warlord. No, I'm thinking on leaving that in A tier. I'm not seeing anything particularly amazing. Nice Hunt Mark synergies, but not anything terrible either. Defending using Runestones, heal force your Warlord. That's pretty nice. Healing 4 for nothing can be the difference if you're going for control decks, but it's only really existing in control decks, so yeah, that's where it belongs. And the Halls of Legends, give shield to your friendly unit, can be any troop, so it's like gives you a free trade, and you get to draw a card as well. Yeah, this card probably has to. Yeah. I think that's the entire Space Wolf cards. Let's just go through what is broken. Raid Tactics. No, I think Raid Tactics does belong there. Are these two switchable? Because you're just like a beefcake as a 5-drop not to even play straight away, if you're not worried about something removing it. And even if you do, you can just use this ability straight away, which is why it's here. I think you go at the bottom of this just because you do need the existence of another unit you want to buff. But not even want to buff is like too much. You just need the existence of a unit to buff, because its buff within itself is good enough to not even need a particular target. So yes, it does belong here. But for the Saga, I think it's an S tier, very powerful card in the right deck. However, Logan Grimnar I will put above it. Pack of 1, probably not. The Fang, yeah, it goes in every deck. The Fang's really good. Fenrising Walls. Yeah, I think this card is like necessary board clear in every single deck. Halls of Legends will just keep at the bottom because it's a counteract target card. Yes, I can see that. I can see this. I can see this. You're probably near the bottom. You're probably right. These two switch. Yeah, I think that's fair. These cards probably beyond Shrine at the bottom. You're probably going towards the top-ish. You're at the top here. You can lose tempo, that's why he's not an S tier. I think, yeah, the hard move was really good. You're like here. Yeah, you're more towards the bottom. Probably not quite. You're like the middle. You're more towards the bottom because I struggle to see synergies with it, but once the synergy exists, it's going to be really powerful. You're just like a stable card, so you're probably like here. You belong towards the top-ish. Wolf Priest belongs to the top-ish. Yeah, that seems perfectly alright. I think I got no problems with this. Maybe, oh no, maybe you behind this guy. Yeah. No, that seems right. The B tiers. The B tiers. What belongs in B tier and where? Oh, it's a bit of a hard one to say. What the order belongs in here. Yeah, maybe this bit more up. I think you're on a bit more on the low end. Got no problem with you guys, so like you guys can go up there. You're not doing anything amazing. Meh. You're probably a bit more higher up. Actually, you're probably the top of B tier. I think we've talked about this. Top of B tier. Yeah, you guys belong down. I'd put you here. Probably get you around about here. Like, Saga of the Wild, yeah, you're probably better than Saga of the Wild. And you're probably a bit more higher up because there's probably really nice synergies. Oh, and I'm putting Canis Helix down. Probably around about here. And we can do a switch around here. Something like that. Yeah, that seems decent. Here we are up in the Wolf Scout at the top. Probably not Yudo. No, actually, Legendary Tenacity does have its place sometimes, so probably something like that. I'd probably rate you a bit more highly. Yes, and Venerable Dreadnought. It does have that crazy synergy combo. It'd be nice to Venerable Dreadnought because it's a Dreadnought, and I think I agree with this. So yeah, this is my overall opinion of the deck list. If you disagree with anything in particular, please comment down below. 100% try to read them all and get your thoughts. Yeah, Space Wolves do have some broken cards, my golly. They really do. And yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. See you all next time.